Yo, 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 what up, though? It's your boy Scrappy the Belt Guy, and welcome back to the J-Dub Belts YouTube channel. We're in Studio B, as I would call it, the my second shop at my other property, and we're moving forward on this AEW custom leather strap. It's if you didn't see part one, this is going to be part two. Maybe go back and check that out on the channel, then come back and watch this one after. In that one, we had a pre-cut strap ready to go for an oversized AEW Championship. We already had the edging done and the line work all drawn on here, so we know what we would do, and that's kind of where we started in the last video, and we went through and we carved and grooved and got all this set up and ready to go for our tooling. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up this video here, we're going to tool in through here, and we're going to stamp, all this stuff in here, and we're going to get this thing all ready to take some dye. But before we get into the bing, bing, bing of the stamping and the tooling, we're going to get into a little bit of carving. Now, as you saw in the other video, and I'll be wetting my my leather quite a bit. Makes it easier to work. That's how you want to work it when you're, especially when you're tooling it, but when you're carving or doing anything like that as well. So I dampen my leather and kind of let it soak that water in a little bit. And I'll be using today, amongst a bunch of other tools here. Well, let's start with those. I got a bunch of different stamps for all the different textures that we're going to try to put on this belt. So there's going to be quite a few of them. And all throughout this snap box area and this whole strap, because the way we're doing this, it's not like a traditional snap box style. We're not doing any trademark logos. We're not doing anything like that for this belt. We don't do that. What we do is like totally custom stuff. So if you've got a championship and you want a total custom hookup and you want on some beautiful superior leather, then that's what we do. And so I got my tools here already, everything's plotted out in my head. We've got it all laid out here. I just got to follow the line work that I've put in there. We're also going to use the embossing tool in some areas here, which is cool. I can add this beautiful design on here just by kind of rolling it into places where I want it. So that'll be fun to do that. I've got, these have like little different sized like ball tips on them. And we can use that when we're kind of tooling and creating a texture around things that we've carved, so we can make certain things pop out. So in this case, we'll be using it in between these letters and stuff. So we got lettering on both ends that we're going to start. We're going to carve that first, and then using this swivel knife, and then we'll get into stamping and tooling the rest of this stuff. So the swivel knife, it's got a wicked blade on it as far as it's fat, and you can do it straight down. You can hit different angles when using the blade. So you can either have a small point and just do a line, or you can have it flat and have the whole blade in there and really carve into something. And the idea is that it's a spinner, right? It spins. So you put your pressure finger here so that you can press down, and then you can turn this blade any way that you want it with your thumb and your middle finger, using your forefinger to apply pressure. So then now you can take this tip and you can go around things, and it makes it super cool for carving. So my style is to take I do a lot of other leather goods and wild leather stuff, which I'll post on the page soon. But it's I'm taking the techniques from doing other style like leather work and kind of applying that to championships, and that's kind of what makes my style. And so yeah, you probably won't see a ton of guys that do championship re-leathers that use the swivel knife quite like I do. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And not to say that there aren't guys out there that do it, because there are, and I'm not saying that like there's so many more talented cats out there. This is just my technique and what I do. So like I'm not knocking anybody. There's a butt ton of super talented leather guys out there that know way more than I do. I just thought I'd kind of put what I've learned and what I do kind of out there for you guys to consume and absorb and take it for what you want. And we'll have some fun. So yeah, so now it's all about carving these designs out. I'm going to tool a little bit around it so you can see them, make them pop. And then we'll do all the tooling for the rest of the belt here in this video. And then the next video, we'll do a cool custom dye job to it. So, yeah, guess I'll just get rolling. So I guess I should explain what I'm doing before I go too far. I'm just rolling with this. I'll just keep rolling. So I took the swivel knife and I cut all these lines out. And so I want the letters to stand up and pop. I need a tool around it and take a texture around it so that these will have no texture and will just look like bold standout letters. So what I'm going to do that is I'm going to kind of take the tattoo philosophy. Like I've got tattoos all over here. So when they fill in my sleeve with these individual tattoos, they'll put shading and different things in here to kind of make it all blend together. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'm going to put some shading and stuff in here, and then it's going to help blend together with the tooling that we're going to put inside here, which actually will be an embossing. So and we'll do that when we get into to stamping this thing. So I'm going to just keep adding moisture, and the first thing I'm going to do is, because this swivel knife has got a nice bevel to it, it's a thick blade, it did bevel and open these up pretty good, but I'm going to open up a little further with one of these tools with the ball tips, and I'm going to follow those lines and I'm going to open them up a little bit more, and then I'm going to probably take a different size one and just kind of texture in all these little areas that I won't be able to get the embossing tool in there, and I'll kind of do it all around the edges and stuff in here, and then when we do the embossing we'll go right up to it and it'll kind of hide all that, so it'll make this stand and then the texture back here. So that's the idea. So we got to do that here and there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just do the outline and kind of get that little bit of tooling taken care of, and then we'll go do the other side, and then once we have them both done, then I can emboss and tool all these parts that are cut out. So that's the avenue of approach that I'm taking to this. So here we go. As per usual, we'll keep this thing damp and we'll get rolling here. what kind of makes the carving pop. So adding that little bit of texture. Now when I emboss all this stuff, I'll be able to go right up to that texture, and that'll just really pop out, you know. So that's kind of the idea. Now I can do that. I could do a similar texture throughout here, and that wouldn't be a bad look. But I think I got something that's going to look a little cleaner, more elegant. And so, and maybe hopefully make that pop even more. So, we'll get that rolling in the next part of it. So now I gotta flip this over. And I gotta carve this side and tool this side. This one's gonna take twice as long, at least, just because of the size of the lettering and the detail that's in it. This old English font. Might have to take a little break. So, the wonders of editing. Y'all won't have to worry about it. So there we go. So we got that carved in there. little detail around it, kind of shadow it out so you can see it. Same thing here. That side. So it'll look like that. So not too bad. When we emboss in there, it'll look real nice. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to dampen this area, and in this area where this is at, I'm going to emboss this. Now, I could tool it in a similar texture, but I want to have like breaking points. So like I'm doing something totally different. I want it to just stand out above everybody else's. So I'll be doing a similar texture in here, not the same, but similar. And so I don't want it to be the same. I don't even want it to be close. Because if it's similar, then it's got to be the same. And if it's not the same, then it's got to have a significant contrast. So that's why I decided to emboss this area here with this embossing tool that I got. So, shoot, this handle's expensive. This stuff is pricey, these tools, but this guy is well worth it because of what we can do from a design standpoint. So now I'm going to emboss this whole area in here around what we just did. I'm going to start by following the line. So we're done with the embossing tool, and we have embossed in between here and kind of really added some elegance to what was otherwise kind of just a hacked up mess, right? So now it looks like we got a little something going there. So now you got that nice flush, clean font tooled into some, beautiful, embossed inlay here. And so it's a wheel, and we wanted to make sure that, well, the way I like to do it is I like to make sure this is more saturated than normal and super soft. That way I could really get some pressure on here, and that's why you saw me kind of leaning on it to get this embossing in pretty deep, so that it really makes this lettering stand out. So we did that on both sides. And so now, let me take out the middle, just the snap boxes together, basically. It looks like that. So, that's the idea there. And then now we've got to tool in what I guess we're calling this the snap box, but really these are the snap boxes, because I'm going to run the snaps down the center of these lines here. And so, but we're going to tool everything all around it, and then of course do the tooling around here. So what we're going to use So what I'm going to do first is just some more like, just a texture is all it is. You see them in some snap boxes. I do it in a lot of different like snap boxes. It's just a texture. I use the shit out of this one. It's this one here. What I'll do is I'll follow the line all the way around because it's got a different like divot here, and I can use that to create a border look. So I'll go all the way around the lines, and then whatever in between I'll fill in with the texture after, and then it should have a nice clean textured look. And so I'm just going to stay within the lines of the design I drew. So I'm going to do this outside, and then we'll do these snap boxes down the middle with these other tools that I got over here. So yeah, I brought a couple of extras I wasn't even sure if I would use or not, but I just brought them just in case. So I'm not sure yet. So we'll see what happens with these. But these would be the ones I'll be primarily using when we get to that other part. But trusty handy dandy mallet, back to wetting things and just doing what we do. So now we tooled in this other area with something different texture, different look. And so it's starting to really take shape. So what we're going to do is I got some tooling that's going to go inside here. And I'm going to show you those tools. I'm going to get that in here. And then I'll go off camera and I'll do the same thing on the other side. And then I'll come back on camera when we do the tooling for this and show you the final product when we get it all tooled. But y'all don't want to sit here for an hour for one video, so I'm going to cut it up. So first things first is I've got, like I said, keeping this thing moist. I really want it to, the impressions to really sink in. So as moist as I can keep it, I try to. So I've got these they're like loops on top of loops. They're like circular circles, and they kind of weave together when you line them up. So I've got, should have brought the shorty one with me too. I guess I didn't. I got the straight one for here, and then I've got the 90s right there to like span those corners so I can go bing, bing, and then ding, 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 ding. So that's those two for that. And then I got this textured one here. It's got like squares and diamonds and triangles and shit on it. And I'm going to pop that down the center here. That's ultimately where our snaps are gonna go. So, so go ahead and knock that out so I can show you at least what one side's gonna look like. And then we'll do the other side off camera. Then I'll come back and we'll do this. And then I'll show the whole thing. So, all right, here we go. And there we go. And that's one half of this snap box, quote unquote, done. So I'll give you guys a quick look at it. All the insane amount of tooling that went into that. So we'll, I'm going to do the other side, do the same thing to the other side, off camera. And then I'll come back on camera and do this. I'm going to take a quick break and soak in a beverage and a cigar, but yep. I'm going to come back, do this other side off camera, and then we'll come back on camera and we'll do this. And then we'll get a nice close-up look at how she looks tooled before she gets dyed. So, all right. So we're back. We got this thing done. We tooled both sides. This is the first one we did with the eagle on this side. And then we did this one here. And it says Savage on this side, a different font. We've got a cutout here for a property plate. We're going to put kind of on the end almost as a faux tip. So a little something different. Actually, originally he didn't know we were going to do this. I had come across the property plate myself and he had no idea I was going to add it to this. And then he kind of had the idea that, oh, hey, you got that property plate. And then he's like, nah, you know what? Don't even bother adding it. And I'm thinking, I started laughing because I had already worked it into the design. So he will get his property plate right there. So yeah, we're doing it a little bit different than normal here. And that's, yeah. So it's looking pretty good right there so far. So now we got to get the last part I kind of saved for the easy part. Or save the easy part for last, so it should go pretty quick. And that is just to tool the outside around here. And the most common is the camouflage tooling. It looks like a clamshell that you see around here. We're going to do something a little bit different. Give it a different look, kind of a braided look almost with this tool here. And then should be pretty much ready to go. We will take her back to the shop, to our regular shop, and we will, after we're done, and we will do a quick burnishing around the edges, just a light burnishing, and then we will get it ready to take dye. We're going to have some fun and play with the dye and the color, but then we'll put the color in. Once we get the color in, the backing, the plates, everything on it, then we'll burnish it again and put an edge coat on it so that it's sealed in. It holds the backing and everything on. But I burnish it twice because I want it to be super shiny and smooth and sealed up real good. So I'll do like a preliminary one and then a second one at the end, like you're supposed to do it. But I do it one early too, just so that it's kind of already ready already. So it makes the real one go a lot faster and look a lot cleaner. So so yeah, so we're gonna get to tooling this, and then we'll in the next video we'll do the dyeing, and we'll dye the strap and put the coating, you know, the protective sealant on it and all that stuff. And anytime you're tooling, you got to have something underneath here solid to get things, you know, really stamped in there well. And up here we got a nice solid marble tile, but actually at my home shop the whole table is just made out of it, so that's what's cool. I can just kind of work right on my table and not have to think about it. Here it's a little different, but nonetheless, we're gonna get this thing a rolling. So pick a happy spot to start and just kind of go with it. That's it. She's ready to go. Use this braided, like filigree kind of leafy tooling along the edges there. Don't see that typically on this belt, so I thought it would be fun. It's a tough one to do in some of these crazy angles, but I thought it would be fun. And it really adds to the look. So yeah, so we'll get in here, and as you can see where we detailed some of this stuff, I'll probably take the fonts the letters and do something a different color there. So I'll dye the whole thing black, and then I'll come in and I'll probably paint these letters and maybe some other spots to accent, to make them really pop and stand out. So I'll kind of leave that up as a surprise on how I'm going to do that, and that will be on our next video. So yeah, there is all the tooling, carving, and all that for the this custom AEW Championship. So yeah, part 3 we'll get into dyeing and having some fun with the colors and getting it ready to take some plates. So appreciate all you guys for hanging out at the YouTube channel here, the J-Dub Belts YouTube channel. If you dig the video, make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video, let everybody know what's going on. You can follow us on social media as well. And if you haven't yet, check out some of the other videos on the page, including part 1 of this monstrosity right here. So once again, thanks a lot for hanging out with me. We'll see you on the next one. Be good to each other.